My name is Heather Carey. Today's video is over services, supports, and activities within a student's IEP. Based on the needs identified in the PLAAFP or present levels of academic achievement and the functional performance and the annual goals, the IEP team determines what services, activities, and or supports will be provided to the learner on behalf of the learner. The IEP team must include a clear and comprehensive description of each service, support, and or activity to ensure all team members know what services, support, and or activity will be provided, including when they will be provided and by whom. Special education services, related services, and supplementary aids and services may be provided to the learner, parent, family, and or school personnel. Parents, family members may need training and counseling to understanding the special needs of their child and or helping parents to acquire the necessary skills that will allow them to support the implementation of their child's IEP. You need to think about sometimes if students have a hearing device, they may need training from the audiologist, or if they need training from a behavior specialist. Also, the IEP team may identify target training necessary for school personnel to meet the unique and specific needs of the student rather than a general training program available within the district or AEA. So there's differences between services, supports, and activities. Services are regular, purposeful, ongoing set of actions delivered to or on behalf of a learner over time. The systematic nature of the described service is reflected in the number of minutes and frequency, the setting where services are provided, and the persons responsible. For each service, the IEP team will need to identify the start date, the service provider, the number of minutes of service per day, week, or month. Indicate if the learner will be removed from education with non-disabled peers to receive any of the services, and if there is direct removal, specify the amount of removal per day, week, or month. It's important also to describe the service in a manner that passes the stranger test. So the stranger test means if the student's enrolled in a new school, would teachers and or support personnel there understand the learner's needs and know what to do? So if we look here, if we go to activities and supports or services, excuse me, there's going to be drop down menus. Those services, okay, the services will require you to complete additional fields to document more specific information. And you have to describe each service in the expandable text, and they're going to want you to do each one separately. So the frequency of the service is to be recorded by typing a number in the field. The number may be adjusted by clicking on the up or down arrow, and I'm gonna show you that in a little bit. And then how often. So then you're going to need to indicate, is it weekly, monthly, or daily? So then record the amount of time the learner will be removed from general education as part of the service. Like here, I kind of just talked about that. Then you have to put the start and end of the service that will default to the start and end dates of the IEP based on the roll call, but may be customized by the team. So, and this will only appear after roll call has been completed for the IEP meeting. One or more providers can be selected from the drop-down menu. If the provider is not listed in the drop-down menu, then you put outside of Achieve, okay? And you can save your work at any time by clicking the Save button. As services are created and saved, they'll appear in a table at the bottom of the page. Any incomplete services will appear with a warning, and then you're going to have an IDR or an incomplete data report. And you can just always go back and fix those at the end. So then we have activities and supports. Activities and supports are events, tasks, or things provided to or on behalf of an eligible individual in order for the individual to take advantage of or respond to educational programs and opportunities. Activities and supports are less regular or systematic than services, and in describing these in the IEP, teams do not require an ongoing designation of minutes in settings of monitoring of progress towards the goal. So this could be like if they're going to take tests, you would say that all time test. So they would be intermittent because it just depends on when it's going to happen within the classroom. So again, you want to make sure that it passes the stranger test. Again, they're going to have a section for that. Individualized activities and supports may be selected from the drop-down menu. One or more providers can be selected. So it might be general education teacher, special education teacher, paraprofessional. You want to select the appropriate frequency again. If the available frequency is not specified, select as outlined in the description, and then just be very specific. You can save your work at any time by clicking the save, and you could always come back to it. So our next section here is accommodations. If needed, individualized accommodations may be described using the available fields and drop-down menus in the accommodations accordion section. When more than one accommodation is needed, it is best to document each accommodation individually. You may save your work at any time. I always like to include math accommodations in one box, testing in one box, reading in one box. So I kind of set this up for you so you could see like especially design instruction. And if you hold this down here, here we could put Buford will receive specially designed instruction in the area of reading. Buford will receive small group instruction at his level of reading. Instruction will focus on vocabulary building, fluency, comprehension strategies, including building background knowledge, etc. Here we have the providers, and the providers are outside of Achieve, and I'm going to type my name. I'm just going to say that I'm a special education teacher. I'm not going to put an agency right now. And I tagged it for prior written notice. And I marked it daily, 20 minutes daily for specially designed instruction. You have to see what works for that student. So I didn't type the whole thing. I just started to type it for an example. So then I would hit save, and it's not complete. So then it's going to show you, the exclamation point there. Activities and supports, I didn't put any in there yet, so it's not done. Accommodations, I started. Again, I always like to list them out separately. I started with the testing accommodation. Here it would be Buford's testing accommodations include, but are not limited to, accommodated and or modified test, quizzes and writing assignments, small group setting, test read aloud, frequency, as outlined in the description, because this needs to be something that is provided to him at all times. Provider would be special education teacher, general education teacher, paraprofessional, and maybe, there'd be other ones there. So, and then you'd save it, and it's not done, so it's still going to tell me that for the IDR. So I hope this video helps you. If you have questions, make sure to go and check out I3. That's a great resource. Talk to your instructor, and you can always talk to your AEA rep. Thank you.